We're 13 days into the new year. So many people have made New Year's resolutions and set goals that probably are waning right now as we're going into the third week of the year. As I sat there and looked at, what is my big goal, my SMART goal for the year, and how to break it down into months and weeks, and kind of what the next steps are and the deliverables that I've made for myself. It's a little overwhelming because it's hard to come up with what that one big goal is. What is the goal that would move the needle for you, your family, your business, whatever the case is? And if you can come up with it, how do you break it down into bite-sized pieces that are monthly, that you can track, and weekly, and to evaluate your progress as you go into as you get to the end of the week? Were you successful? Were you not? What does that look like? I kind of know where I want to be. Emphasis on kinda. Getting specific is hard. It's hard to figure out the steps. First of all, it's hard to figure out what that goal is. If you can define the goal, breaking it into pieces is probably a little easier, but it's still challenging. And I don't know how you exactly get there. So I wish I had some advice, because I feel like every day that goal, my to-do list overshadows what I need to be doing. What are those 3 steps a day that make the biggest difference toward my goals? And how does your everyday responsibilities and requirements play into the bigger goals? It's hard to look at it broadly enough. Actually, not look at it broadly enough. Look at it narrowly enough to define that, because it seems like life gets in the way. Emails, texts, social media, and all these other things that become distractions for us. What I find helpful is to get up in the morning and spend time doing what I personally do are devotionals. I have some leadership reading and journaling, and I use that time to try to get my head around what the goals are, what I need to be doing, what I don't need to be doing. What you don't need to be doing is as important as what, if not more important than what you do need to do. We get caught up in minutia that doesn't move the needle. We need to figure out what that needle is, what it looks like to move that needle. To use a football analogy, what yard line are we on, and how do we get it down to our opponent's end zone? How do we score that touchdown? It's something I think we all think about, but as we think about it, we get distracted in other areas. So I don't want it to be something that I forget by day 31 of January. And the other thing is, you don't need a new year to come up with the items and things that you need to do to make a difference in your life and your family's life and your business life. I think that's an ongoing thing and a daily thing to evaluate. And I believe you will eventually get there and have that definition if you take a little time each day to evaluate where you are and where you need to go, what that needs to look like.